It's as American as the Star-Spangled Banner and as modern as space-age engineering. It's video burnout.
Your minds are free, empty. Your bodies are light, floating. You're fading, fading, fading.
I hid it deep within your unborn consciousness. And now, I want it back. Circuitry Man, give me the sequence! Ah! Yes! Give me!
Tonight, the video Burnouts take on Circuitry Man II, Plughead Rewired.
Get out of my mind!
You were yelling.
Howdy, and welcome to the video Burnouts. With me is my right-hand man, Justin. On my left is Jay.
So they think.
And I am Zoe. And we're coming to you from the Video Vault. And this week's Burnout is a little-known gem of a hot mess of a movie called Circuitry Man II, Plughead Rewired. How's that for a cover? And the slogan is, he's wired, he's jacked, he's back. A mind is a terrible thing to invade. And I'm just going to read you the description so you'll get a flavor of this movie. The Earth's atmosphere has been destroyed. Survivors have been forced underground, and the future is controlled by Plughead. His pleasure is giving pain and feeling it by jacking into the minds of his victims. Now he's got the ultimate weapon to rule what's left of life on Earth. All that stands in his way is the android Circuitry Man and the beautiful FBI agent, Kyle. They've teamed up for a shocking showdown with the Prince of Pain. Deborah Shelton, Vernon Wells, Jim Meltzer, and Tracy Lord star in this mind-bending sci-fi adventure sequel that goes beyond the jolts of the original hit, Circuitry Man. Well, Justin, do you feel like that was a fair description?
Mind-bending describes it pretty well, I'd say. I think that's fairly accurate. Yeah, I think that describes 1.5 of the movie's 4 plots that are running straight through it. Yeah, I'd say that's good for that.
That's fair. Jay, what's your initial reaction?
I mean, none of that on the back makes any sense as you're watching it. I mean, after you've watched it 3 or 4 times, you know, but that's kind of part of it. But as with anything, some things make it a little bit better, you know.
I was gonna say this is the first time I've watched this movie not completely stoned.
That's where it actually, I can't talk about it straight. So let's see. You know,
it made a little bit more sense not being stoned. Not a lot, but a little bit more sense.
No, I think the movie is awesome in its own way. Whenever people mention it as part of the shittiest movie ever made, I don't think it deserves to be on that list. It's bad. And it makes no sense, and the mechanics of it are very strange, but it also is something that from start to finish you actually are into. You know,
it is lively.
It's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable movie. It's an enjoyably bad movie, which when you get into bad movies, you find out a lot of them are just bad and have no real redeeming features whatsoever. But this one actually keeps going. It's actually fun and kooky.
Does it have anything to do with Circuitry Man 1?
I was going to ask if either of you had seen that.
One time I did. I think it's on YouTube or something. I watched it, and it's pretty wacky, but it's not nearly as wacky as Circuitry Man 2. I think they were trying to make more of a serious film with Circuitry Man, and with Circuitry Man 2, they were just letting it all hang out, you know.
Well, let's talk about the different stories that are going on in this movie. So what I wrote down, I took notes when I was making, as we all did, and one thing I wrote down 4 times during the movie is is this a comedy? Because I feel like you've got, so the 4 plot lines are Plughead, who's making longevity chips to sell to rich people so that eventually he can mind control them with these longevity chips.
Brushed over in a 7-second.
Yeah, the whole plot of that, the whole point of that story is just given at the very end. That section is like Hellraiser body horror type stuff. Then you've got Circuitry Man with Agent Kyle, this beautiful woman, going to go get Plughead. That one feels like half comedy, half serious. And then you've got the 2 criminals, Rock and the guy who's like the dude from the Warriors, David Patrick Kelly. Rock, because he likes rocks, gives a very sensitive portrayal of mental handicaps. Yeah, the best since Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder. That is just like pure slapstick. And then the 2 cops who are hunting the 2 criminals who are going to Plughead's lair is just absurd comedy.
The guys that are in the
car.
Oh
in the
my
car.
god!
Yeah.
Wearing the body condoms.
So they seem to be going for the comedy thing. Like they're almost doing like a old 70s slapstick. Oh, why doesn't I keep doing this? But I mean,
That's
once
how
you
they
see
drive.
it, they're driving a car that has 2 swing arms, sort of, with a plastic tube that you breathe through into it, and that has something, and there's a keyboard. You never see the screen, and they're kind of writing where one's in the lap of the other one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and when we got to get up there, but then they kind of do this kind of stuff. And it makes like
They can't see outside. They've got to have
They
that
have to use
thing
the
drop.
screen,
the
yeah.
periscope.
They've got the periscope, and at one point this is how ridiculous that comedy bit is. They're trying to get to Brazil, America, which is
Brazil, America.
presented as just the deep south. There's nothing Brazilian about it. They're trying to get there. They overshoot and end up in Africa. There you go. That is something that actually happens in Circuitry Man 2.
Yes, it does.
we've watched it 3 or 4 times.
This would be my 3rd time.
and
seeing it.
this is the first time hearing about Africa.
Yeah.
You know, that I think sums up the movie. That is really what makes it, I think, top shelf label carnage.
Yeah.
Because you could watch it 50 times, and it is not one that you want to watch 50 times by yourself. You know, it's always like, I don't think that we should ever put it on unless somebody new is in the room, you know, because the fresh part, it's kind of, the Room is even that way, you know, where it's like, you watch it a couple times and it's bad, but having somebody else get and see their confusion kind of helps you make sense out of it, because you start going, well, oh no, you wait till the, you know, there's a sheer enjoyment watching other people watch it, and that is very rare with bad movies. Usually it's all of us just sitting there miserable, and you, like, you're like, why did I give up my night for this?
Could have been alone in my room and had more fun.
Justin, you gonna hang around for the second one? It's a great one. No, I really gotta get.
As long as it's not the post, man.
Oh my god.
There were a couple of lines in the cop part, just to like, that I really dug on. At one point, they're called porno pockets.
Okay,
Yeah.
pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good insult. And then another one, they're called hot lust logs in space.
Hot lust logs in
That's
space.
how they'll look at their space
And
uniforms.
then another point, she called them hot hunks of ham. Look at these two,
Yeah.
couple of hot hunks of ham.
Hunks of ham.
And she steals the guy's shoes.
Yeah, she totally steals his shoes.
Yeah.
It's like, you want a car? Give me your shoes.
Pretty much, I feel we covered that entire plot line with just Jay talking about the ridiculous rocket car that they're in.
That's not the only thing that's stupid in it. I mean, when they eat a potato to be able to breathe the atmosphere of this next planet, that makes no goddamn what's going on. I don't know. But
Well, remember the so-called plot where the air is polluted, and so you have to eat these giant yams in order to be able to
Yams.
breathe.
Chew. Keep chewing. Counteracts the pollutants in the air.
And I never did figure out what eating yams had to do with breathing. Did you guys?
I mean, it purifies the air, man.
The air around you or the air in your lungs?
The
Dude,
script
all
was,
the air,
I'm pretty
all the
positive
air.
it was written on bar napkins. So whatever plot points were, we need that in there. That's how the whole thing feels. The snowshoes.
Yeah, snowshoes.
So to
Sand
walk
shoes.
across
Sand shoes.
They are snowshoes, though.
They are
That is what
definitely
they are,
sand
right?
shoes.
So they're walking out there, and then they start the neon flashing lights across when they're walking. They're trying to do something, and it's rewarding to us. I think if no offense to the director, he did something, but I don't think what we see is the way he was expecting us to see it, if that makes sense.
Did you guys catch the little scene? It was just a very brief little scene where the cops are in the cop shop and they're at the vending machine, and there's the glazed donut and the hand grenade and the handgun right next to each other in the vending machine.
Yeah, the grenades in the vending machine
classic.
is fantastic.
Grenades in the vending machine. That is dope.
It's the future, man.
Yeah, oh, dude, man, that's
future
gonna be
of law
everywhere.
enforcement. Once
Japan already has those.
But hang on, so they have grenades in the thing, but nobody ever uses guns in the movie, right?
No, they don't. They use guns when the
One of the
base with the oxy pipeline.
Yeah,
those people
yeah,
attack it, and also but they're not like normal guns, because when they also get the sand shoes off the two like raiders, they end up shooting them, I think.
And you just watched this.
I watched it yesterday.
Okay,
yeah.
so
And
that's the point that I think we should hit home about this.
I watched it today.
There's
Not for the first
there's
time.
too much to retain from it.
Yeah.
I think the part of the plot that you brought up where it feels serious, I think that's because every actor in this film actually tries. And that there's nobody in it. Maybe the two doofy convicts that leave, I think they're playing to the best of their ability.
Yeah. Yeah. And that part of that movie is made for them to be that way. I don't think they're doing it badly. They're just out of place in other parts of the movie.
So yeah, I think that everybody, that's what makes it, even when they're on the horseback and she's topless and they're making out, it's like you feel bad for them having to do that scene because they're really going 100% and there's nothing there for them to work with.
I felt so bad for that horse. It had to have all those oxygen tubes. And then also throughout the entire movie at that point, plugging is a euphemism for sex throughout the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
But then randomly they're like, oh, can we get the horse? The horse isn't fast enough. And the guy's like, it's okay. I'll plug into it. I'm like, oh, is this dude banging this horse? Like, is this what's happening in like the subtext of the movie?
By interfacing with the horse, I can assist its metabolism as well as increase its nerve synapse response rate. I'll increase its muscular efficiency by 300%.
Is it safe?
I don't know, Kyle. I've never interfaced with a quadruped. Come on, boy. We have a date with a double.
Not to be Freud too much, but I didn't pick up the sexual. Is this something you want to tell us about you, Justin?
Well,
I didn't know the plugging was a metaphor in this one.
Let's cut to any 2 seconds of Vernon
Yes.
Wells' performance.
Yes.
Do you remember when he said, what was it he said? What was he said about
Her dusty loins.
Oh yeah, that was
Your dry, dusty loins.
one, but what's the point of jacking off when you can jack in?
one of his better lines. Yeah.
Why jack off when you can jack in?
That's not being very subtle.
Let's talk about one part that just was baffling. That's the hero, Circuitry Man.
Yeah,
like,
Circuitry
so
Man.
the movie starts out and he's in like an asylum, all white, in a full tux and tails suit.
Listening to like classical music.
Classical music with a big padded pillar in the middle of the room, and he's a robot, a Romeo, I guess like a pleasure bot.
Circuitry Man is not Vernon Wells.
No,
No.
Vernon Wells is
Yeah,
Plughead.
he's on the cover.
Jim Metzler,
I think so. Yeah,
I believe is his name.
he's the Circuitry Man.
Yes.
So he's a suicidal robot who's in this tux, And his costumes are just fantastic from here on out, because he's got the tux and tails, and then like 2 roadies come in, strip him of his tux jacket, and then just immediately put him in a straitjacket with the rest of his tux. Then the next time you see him, he's in a straitjacket with a cravat underneath it. Then you see him with no shirt, but still the cravat. And then when he's actually in the desert, he reminds me of like a Kipling era British colonial guy going on safari. He's got like the brown vest and the slacks. And for an action hero, he just surrenders. Every time he's faced with anything, he just gives up. Like, oh, we'll talk it out later.
Except for the long argument that he has to get into it. So in the white padded room, whenever it's the female cop comes in, and the camera for some reason starts doing a 180 spin. It is except it goes this way, and it is nauseous. Just spinning, and they're arguing back and forth, and the camera's getting closer and closer, but still spinning around them. And no, it's like, what are they? You can't make out what they're really arguing about. You know that the scene just says "be loud." You know, it's just like, oh god,
argue loudly.
Well, that I was gonna say that rotating camera shot, not unlike the opening that also has a nauseous camera shot when is it Tracy Lords, this nurse, plugs into Plughead, and it's like them laying next to each other, and the camera just keeps spinning over them.
Which is that
one's disgusting.
That's my favorite scene in the film.
Oh yeah,
when Tracy Lord, who phenomenal gymnastic rapper, if anybody isn't aware of that, nobody has done a better gymnastic rap film than Tracy Lords.
I will say the rest about all of it.
But that,
Ray's got a copy.
Look it up. It's awkward to watch. Bring the family in. You know.
Change! Cross pelvic thrust. I know this isn't just. Please, I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. We must endure a little torture if we want any sculpture. Press your pelvis to the air. Keep your can nice and square.
It's really good.
Change.
But when she's on the table and she get out of my mind, sounds like some some band that people that are into screamo would fucking go nuts about. Like that'd be it'd be a great opening for an album. Just,
let go of my mind.
You know, I can already hear the double kick pedal. Oh no. Whatever.
The guitar tuned way down to D standard.
I think you guys need to make this happen.
I every time I watch it, I'm like, that needs to be sampled.
Dude.
There are so many one-liners and samples in this one. It's part of
any of Vernon Wells' lines.
Anything he says ever.
Yeah, he's really stellar. In a movie filled with comedic actors, Vernon Wells really shows everybody.
Vernon Wells, who we know from Nam Angels,
Commando,
Sexual Response. What was the movie you mentioned?
Yes.
Zombies versus CIA. You guys, that Vernon Wells. That means what movie did you?
Commando.
What?
He's been in a lot. He's been in a lot of movies. I wouldn't know if it's anything like Plughead Rewired.
That's okay. And there's some. He did a post-apocalyptic film that someone that we should probably watch. Whatever that is at some point.
Well, when we get to ours.
I'm sure it's Carmen.
Now, has anyone ever overacted with more panache and style than Vernon Wells did in this movie?
I mean, the panache and style is really the hard part to get to. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Al Pacino watches this movie and is like, that's what I've been trying to do forever.
Vernon Wells, you get me.
Hoo-ah.
Yeah, his performance is really energetic.
One thing, so I don't know if I just picked this up, and this may just be totally random, but at one point when he's with Kyle and they're on the horse, does she say that she's trans? Like, is there something about that? Because there's this weird moment where he's like talking to her about what it takes to be like a man, and she like gets really upset with him. It was very strange, and it plays into the movie not at all. It even seems kind of very illogical when you find out where she's from.
I think that's a play in on her not being taken seriously as a cop.
Okay.
But
Oh, and she has daddy issues because remember how she said she was supposed to be daddy's little boy?
Yeah, and her name is Kyle.
And her name is Kyle.
Yeah, and it's like, but then at the end of the movie, you find out she was just grown in a vat, like a fully aged person.
But
So-
somehow Tracy Lords is her mother. I still don't understand how that works.
So my guess is just, I mean, Plughead said he would fix her dusty loins if she would help Tracy Lords.
Yeah.
If she would help him. And so then he created a child for her who was just a fully grown adult. And there you go.
But then who was daddy who wanted...
There you go, Zoe. I think I've explained it. But there's a weird trans thing, but it turns out that she's just made in a vat and has been alive for like a year or so.
But who was her daddy then?
All brushed over.
Yeah.
It's a broad stroke kind of film.
That is really like a minor part of the... You find out at the end that she's been with Plughead the whole time, getting Circuitry Man to Plughead's warehouse or wherever. And that's just like completely brushed over. Just like a few lines of dialogue. So,
and the reason Plughead wanted Circuitry Man was because Plughead hid something in Circuitry Man?
He hid the DNA... I guess it's a lot like Man of Steel. He hid this way to make, what was it? It was like other artificial people, or he hid the way to change the longevity chips into mind control devices. He hid that in Circuitry Man's DNA. So that's why he needs to capture Circuitry Man.
To recover the secret so he can mind control the senator and everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Once more, Zack Snyder has not had an original idea yet. So let's mark that down. Can we get a tally of that unoriginal Zack Snyder ideas?
It just needs to be a full thing.
The Watchman's watchable. We all agree there, I think.
300's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder's fine. Man of Steel's fine. I would just... If I get to take a jab at him, I'm doing it because
of everything.
He owes us all about $50 and to stop making movies.
Just 10 hours of our lives.
But they're gonna make a ninth version of Justice League. So
I did hear that. I'm really shocked that there are people out there who think that the Zack Snyder original version is going to be the savior.
I just imagine Zack Snyder's in Netflix. No, we're gonna do like Jenga. We're gonna make it an 8-part series. We're gonna break it down and like, man, come on,
Aren't you the 300 dude? Oh yeah, George Buck Flowers is in this movie.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
He is a treasure in every film that he's in.
So they go to Brazil, America, which again is just the deep south. Like it's got chain gangs and it's got sort of like Texas, we don't want to be a part of the government anymore battles going on. It just felt very deep south for Brazil.
Brazil, America.
And they have the chain gang is run by like a Cool Hand Luke type warden, and that's George Buck Flowers. It's like, oh, buddy. At least he's not the one that's raping the prisoners.
Oh my God!
No, that was the other way. That was the other way around, though. She was a prison guard.
No, but she's raping the prisoner.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny because it's a woman raping a man.
Well, he might be into it. You never know.
His hands are cuffed to the
Maybe
truck.
he's into that.
That's like they got a corral box for it.
Yeah,
it's like that's where I don't know. Yeah, it's another plot point that you could talk an hour about. And we're giving it more thought than the movie deserves.
We're giving it more thought than the movie gave. That's for sure.
Yeah, that anybody involved gave to it. I guess they memorized lines.
You know what? We've said enough, guys.
You might be right.
One thing I did you guys notice the weird kind of synthesizer driven soundtrack besides the other bizarre random songs?
I know the sound of the wind is unbearably loud. That I do remember.
Well, I watched the credits like I always do, and they gave a big shout out to IRS Records, and it turns out most of those songs were IRS, or they were all on the IRS label. Even that weird one at the strange disco gay bar or whatever dance scene when Agent Kyle plugs in.
Yeah.
That was wild. But anyway, I have to wonder, there's clearly a tie-in between the record label and this movie.
Somewhere, yeah.
Maybe it goes partway to explaining the mystery of how did this movie get made and why did this movie get made and who is the intended audience and what is up with this movie.
Well, that's the key to what makes a great bad movie. it's a question movie. Where you tell everybody that sits down with it, like you're gonna ask every question about this movie. Who is it for? Why was it made?
Who are these people?
Why is
what
this
are they
okay?
doing?
Yes.
Where are we?
Yes. What time is it?
Yeah, exactly.
How much time is left?
How long have the people been in this movie? Are we talking weeks or whatever? And how long have we been in this movie? Yeah, all the good questions.
Yep. That's a 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's impressive.
Pretty low.
I don't know what you're saying, sir. I think that's pretty high for Circuitry Man 2.
That's low for IMDb.
So that's the barometer. The movies that we watch that are like everything relative. Trying to think of other ones. Those are the ones that skirt out a 6 because they. Oh man, what's that really bad one? The one with the arm wrestle, Personal Best.
Oh,
the 12-minute.
man.
You know that one's got like a 6.5 because they're dealing with a social topic that people are like, well, at least it's being made.
Riding the bus with my sister.
Yes, that's another one. It probably floats around 7, and that's a hard one. Like, that's
another sensitive portrayal of mental issues.
But if somebody is going, you're way better if you're looking for a bad movie to not look up a list of what the worst movies are, because you fall down your own rabbit hole of what ends up speaking to you as far as bad movies go. But the best barometer when we're going through the shelves, let's try whatever. If it's under a 4, you're into something.
That means it's memorably bad somehow.
And if it is under 4 and under 200 people have rated it, buy it now. Because that's, if the people involved with it that should have watched it are rating it that low. I mean, because that's always 30 of the people. I mean, maybe not everybody rates it on IMDb, but I mean, how many of those bad movies with like 1,000 reviews, you're like, this one guy said this one thing, and then there's like 12 other users without pictures or any other ratings that say the same thing. It's like, this director still tried to sell us on, like that's what you read it like.
Are they paid to do that? Is that part of their job?
No, I wouldn't think so.
They just do it because they want to?
Yeah, especially for like a smaller movie. I think you want to do your
Citizen Kane has nothing on this film.
Yeah. Orson Welles' estate is still paying people for fake IMDb reviews.
I mean, but if you're looking at even the more reviews there are, the more chance it is to get picked up by streaming if it gets bumped up. And that's a little bit more money to somebody. More often than not with this one so much. I don't think these directors, the fact that they didn't really do anything beyond this one speaks to, I feel like they saw what we saw at that level. But a lot of these directors seem to have, Neil Breen, I'm sure he does his own reviews on IMDb, or he's above it.
And hallowed
You can't
name.
trust criticism, with those guys, they seem to be upset that you don't see their vision. And there's some reviews that are like, nobody would write this unless you were the writer of this. Like, there's no unfeasible. And I'm sure we'll end up talking about some movie where we'll give an example of that. But these directors knew it was a flop. That's the moral. But Vernon Wells took the paycheck.
Not only did he take the paycheck, but he put in work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makeup itself
had to take a while. Yeah.
I like whenever he gets the ending and they really have done up all the makeup and he does the head explosion.
Yeah.
Is it love that kills him? Whatever. So they're making out that set. I really truly believe is the exact set for Tupac. I believe it's Dear Mama.
Okay.
But it might be All Eyes on Me, one of the two, and I'm sure we'll end up flipping the clip up on this video. I feel like it's necessary to show that the dream sequence from the Tupac thing is the exact same set. Why is that still standing around? The only thing missing is the piano, as far as my read on it. Same room, same everything.
Well, that actually makes more sense now that Zoe says they've got some sort of connection to this record company.
IRS? Yeah. Tupac, he was on death row, so I don't know if that...
Well, yeah, but I'm sure like the facilities they use to like make music videos or whatever, like they might have had some... IRS might use that for their stuff.
You might be onto something there. I think that's... There's probably some truth. Is it really the set? I don't know, but it looks so much like it that... I mean, you wouldn't be directing... even if one came out before the other, let's say Circuitry 2 came out second, I don't think you'd watch Tupac and be like, we need that. Like there's nothing that
my vision.
There's nothing. I mean, there's a whole lot of that in this movie that we need that stuff, but that's the writer being like, oh yeah, we need a spaceship, and we need, you know,
a camel.
Everything about it is just one thing after the other of just like, oh yeah, we should put that, like trying to make it interesting, but it ends up being fucking confused. Like, I wouldn't doubt that it's a trans plot line.
Yeah.
Brushed over so lightly. It's such an era where it wasn't even a commonplace to say trans, you know, like that idea in a plot is pretty strange, you know, unless you're, you know, Gore Vidal or, you know, John Waters. Like, it's not something that just popped up in films. And this had to be what, 92, 93?
I think that's a very good guess.
I think 94.
94. I mean, you could feel it. So that's,
I would really love to watch the Gore Vidal written, John Waters directed version of Circuitry Man II.
John Waters
in space.
You know, I'm sure we could take enough clips of Gore Vidal's interviews and piece them all together so that John Waters could really get a feel on how he would do this film. And
I thought Gore Vidal did a really great job as Senator Brickley Paste in the play, not the player, Bob Roberts. Yeah.
Okay.
He was very believable as a very dumbass senator.
Gore Vidal could not do wrong to me. I mean, that's he's one of my favorite. As far, I mean, his plays and his books are solid and they're important. But man, when that guy speaks, there's a cynicism and like it's really great. So I'm no doubt that he could do that very well. And I mean, he probably would have played Tracy Lords pretty well.
We haven't mentioned that SpongeBob is in
I was just about to. That's what I was getting
one of the guys with the pole
That's what I
weapons.
was just about to get
the
to.
guru
It's
who
my
gets him to-
favorite scene in the movie. He does the best actual comedy work. So at one point they have to get a teleporter to get to Brazil, America, faster than apparently the rocket car.
Much faster.
So they go to this place where everybody's plugged in, and it reminded me a lot of that room in Inception, where they go in and people are paying to stay in Dream World for a long time. It made me think of that. And there's just a bunch of people kind of swaying, plugged into what we don't know yet. And then the guru shows up. And yeah, it's Tom Kenny. Is that his name? Tom Kenny? And it turns out they're all having a rave. So it's like a silent disco, basically. And he is hilarious. He goes to teleport him. He accidentally teleports his safe. He goes to take some drugs, but it looks to me like he just sticks a thumbtack just directly into his neck. He is wonderful. I was like, man, that they should have just cast him as one of like the criminals and left it at that, because he is fantastic.
Don't rush me, man! If I was just sending a package, it'd be easy, you know? I'm trying to interface using telekinetic energies. Otherwise, you end up at the other end. You got perfectamundo bodies, but your mind is a couple of minds, you know? Okay. Your minds are free, empty. Your bodies are light, floating. You're fading, fading, fading.
Yeah, SpongeBob is who you go to get teleported and not turned into the Fly, I guess.
Good old Tom Kenny. Did you ever see Shakes the Clown?
No.
Oh, well, that's Bobcat Goldthwait's, magnum opus about drunken clowns. And Mr. Kenny plays Binky the Clown, who's Shake's main competitor. And that's quite a wild watch if you've never seen it before.
I'll give it a shot. I like Bobcat Goldthwait. Did he direct it?
He wrote it. I think he directed it. I'm not sure, but it's about Palookaville, a town of clowns, and there's party clowns who beat up mimes and pick on mimes. Robin Williams does a cameo as a mime instructor.
I'm in.
Then there's the rodeo clowns, and those guys are mean, and they like sell cocaine and beat up party clowns, and so that's kind of life in Palookaville. It's really something. Florence Henderson makes a cameo. She's hilarious. But yeah, Tom Kenny SpongeBob, he has 511 credits on IMDb, I think. I'll double check that.
I mean, I'm sure it's true. He does a bunch of voice work.
I will check that for you.
You can do that in like
511 credits when I checked this afternoon. He's probably got 513 by now. That guy's getting work. And it's like video games, cartoons, SpongeBob, all kinds of stuff.
509 as an actor.
Man.
Well, he'll get those other two sooner rather than later.
Zoe's his agent.
By the time this comes out, it'll be right.
So you guys agree that with Jay that it was a good movie or an awesome movie, or like you enjoyed watching this? Because I feel like there's a lot of bad movies we watch where it's just like a slog. I don't feel like this one was that.
It's certainly an enjoyable experience. There's a few bits that lag a little bit, but mostly it's pretty lively and a much more enjoyable carnage experience than what we're all used to.
Agreed. Yeah. The most difficult part about this movie is how confusing it is. That takes a little while to get through, as far as just like the exhaustion of watching it. But it's all done with like a lot of energy, and that helps a bad movie a lot. So yeah, if you like bad movies, I think this one is right up your Vernon Wells alley.
It ought to tickle your fancy.
It stands out for in the realm of bad films that we could put up at any time. If you see, being here, it'd be Zoe pulling the tape off the mantle, which is mantle for us is there's 3 tiers of the worst films ever made. Which tier does Circuitry 2 fall in? Third?
Top tier.
Top tier. Okay.
Top tier carnage. Maximum security lockdown.
It's shuffled around. And
those carnages have shown a consistent lack of concern for human life and the safety of the public at large. That's why they must be separated forever.
So if you see him reaching up, oh, we're going to do something up there, you get kind of excited, but you're really nervous, because, what was it? We don't need to see, oh man, what's the something 5,000, whatever, the Mystery Brothers Y2K or what?
Oh, Misery Brothers Y2K.
Misery Brothers Y2K. When that comes down, I'm ready to, this is my last time.
Well, that's if I ever pull that down, that I not only hate you, but I hate myself. I hate the world. I've eaten all the black pills there are, and it's over.
But yet we've watched it numerous times.
Yes, we have.
But he's lost his will to live. It's fine. When Circuitry 2 comes down, it's like, okay,
yeah,
it's gonna be that kind of time. The more times you watch it, it's not fucking, it's not Schindler's List or something. You're not like, man, I can't wait to be moved by this thing. But you still are like, yeah, let's and it's exciting if somebody else is over. Like if one of our friends is here, or we bring in a coworker, whatever it ends up being, that we corral in there 2 or 3 times they come over before they're like, nah, I don't need friends that bad. But we all get pretty excited hyping it up. Like, oh my God, you gotta see, yeah, you're not gonna believe this. And is it worthy of that hype? I would probably 50-50. If you like shitty movies, it's phenomenal. It's, if you're looking for a sci-fi movie, you're gonna, you gotta have at least a little, like we've watched almost every Tracy Lord film. Vernon Wells, we all actually know who he is, it's like, so just seeing that in itself stands out. So I mean, of course it's a personal flavor, but if you're looking for something like, let's strap in, Circuitry 2 certainly nails that. So yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I figured it out, you guys. IRS Records tried to think, okay, how can we foist these songs on the public without them really knowing that we're foisting them on them? I know, we'll hire a bunch of stand-up comics, have them make a sci-fi movie in the desert, and put them all in the soundtrack. And 1, 2, skip a few, we're all rich.
And it worked.
That was the early 90s. That was the format.
I think I figured it out.
Oddly, I don't remember a single song from it. So
maybe that's why IRS Records was so desperate to push them.
Is IRS, do they have like a notable?
Oh yeah, the Police used to record for them, I think, and a bunch of really big acts in the 80s were on IRS Records, I think. Producer Eric Mike could double check me on that, but I think that's right.
All right. Well,
so gentlemen, we have to discuss the ending. What happened exactly? Can either one of you, does either one of you care to recap?
So I need, even before we talk about the ending, how they get to that sci-fi universe. Is that plugging in?
Yeah.
When we see the plastic dangling from the ceiling, and it's...
Yeah.
But who plugged into who?
Well, Circuitry Man surrenders, of course.
Because that's what he does.
That's what he does. It's his main
As
thing.
an action hero, like you pointed out.
Yeah, he's great at it. He surrenders to Plughead, and then Plughead jacks him in.
so that he can find the thing to do the mind control.
The DNA. He gets those like baby fetuses out of the fish tank. I guess that's him accomplishing it. But then I guess also Kyle jacks in at some point, and they go to...
Does Kyle jack into Plughead or to Circuitry Man?
I mean, I think Plughead might just always be jacked. Because, like, he doesn't have to jack... He plugs in Tracy Lords earlier to feel that guy dying.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do anything. He's always just like, he's feeling it. And when he meets the senator, he doesn't have all his plugs in. So I think he's just like, he's got some sort of rig where he's always plugged in.
Always plugged
somehow.
He's Plughead.
Yeah, I guess that would be his superpower.
Okay, so somehow they plugged into... No, okay, I know what it was. They both plugged into Plughead's reality, which was that hellish, whatever, weird CGI.
We'll call it
yeah.
that.
And then...
which looks pretty cool from the distance, oddly.
Yeah.
That is a one weird little shot where you're like... And then it all crumbles. So, you know.
and okay, so but then Circuitry Man says...
Come visit my mind.
And then what changes, though?
I'm guessing he sucked Plughead into his mind, and he's like, because he's
Since
like,
they're plugged together.
Yeah, I guess so. Because Plughead shoots that thing out of his head, and
he holds it off for a while.
Yeah,
but then it goes in.
So he's like, I'll take you into my world, where he's like a pleasure bot. So his world is all romantic on the scale of a Tupac music video.
and those sex scenes from The Room.
Oh man, those great, those love scenes from The Room, sir.
Okay, and then suddenly Circuitry Man is holding a candle and the music changes and it's all like angelic choirs or something, and then what happens?
I literally only remember them kissing, and then the head explodes from...
They kiss, and then Plughead is like sneering at him, saying, this is a joke. What do you think? That true love will destroy me? And like 3 seconds later, his head explodes.
That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, because he tells, you think you can kill me with your love?
They need a close up.
Yeah. Immediately goes into dying. He bursts into flame, and then he reverses into flame, which is very difficult to do, and then just entirely explodes. And that's how you kill Plughead, I guess, with
inside his mind.
Love. Yeah,
with the power of true love.
With true love, a robot programmed to love people, and a woman grown in a vat to be the thing that this robot guy wants to love. That is true love in Brazil, America. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good time. It's a good ending.
I think he did a good job of stringing that together. Oh, wow. Okay. It must be mentioned, if you sit through the credits, there is a little throwaway scene at the end of the credits, and it's the little dorky cops in their penis car with their body condoms on, yanking at their weird controls, still lost as ever. So it's good to know that they never actually got to where they were trying to go.
What were they trying to get to?
Brazil, America.
I mean, what were they getting there?
But were they chasing Plughead?
They were chasing the criminals. So they're
the escaped criminals.
Yeah, because they want the promotion, and they've got those trackers in their teeth that they later.
Oh, and speaking of Rock, we got to give a shout out to Shakespeare and to Rock for the beautiful soliloquy, Shakespearean soliloquy that he ends the movie on. That was really uplifting. That really made me feel good. Even Rock can recite Shakespeare.
Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a day. Sometime.
That guy is apparently like a pretty successful actor.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's like in Darkman and Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, he's never the lead, but he's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, solid character actor. You would not guess that from his work in this movie.
Everybody, I guess if Vernon Wells is tied in, everybody's like, well, he's... I mean, it's like probably David Carradine. Probably a third of his 793 movies he did are people just signed on because he was in it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a job.
Yeah,
and everyone's got agents and publicists and bills to pay.
Yeah,
but that's
the magic of movies.
Everybody seems to see this movie as a stepping stone. That's what I take from everybody that's in it. It's that they're trying to prove, even if it's just well, I did well in that movie, and that seems to be what they're all going for. And they're not that caliber of, it's not, you're not seeing Joaquin Phoenix up there or anything. But they're bigger than the movie should have had in a weird way.
It's just like plays used to be, where an actor would, probably not decline a play unless it was terrible, because he'd think, well, this play might not be great, but if I really shine, if I not necessarily upstage everybody, but outperform everybody, then the critics might notice me, and I might get my name mentioned in the write-up, and my career might advance. I'm sure it's the same.
You're always trying to make your reel as an actor, so if you can have 10, 15 seconds of a good performance, that goes
screaming,
in the reel, and that's all anybody would notice. Oh, Vernon Wells didn't need a reel at that point. I think he was beyond it.
I think it was Tracy Lords who uttered that particular.
Oh yeah, good one.
Vernon Wells says, what does he say? I need
your pain.
I love to plug.
I love to plug. That's what it should say on the front of the VHS.
It should definitely
on the
say
tape. It should said, I love to plug.
Dude, they would have sold 10,000 more copies at least.
Or plug off the graffiti behind him. Fantastic.
Well, anything else you guys want to say about this movie before we wrap it up? Did we miss anything?
Where can people see it?
Yeah, why don't you guys tell the good people where it's available?
YouTube right now has it up.
That's where I watched it today.
We were informed
there's a combo pack.
News.
Oh, 1 second.
News.
I'm hearing that at one point there was a combo Blu-ray pack, but looks like the price has got up a little bit, probably because of our show.
Probably because of it, definitely.
Back to the studio. That's live from the street.
Also, Criterion will be releasing a Blu-ray in the next couple of months.
I am definitely holding my breath waiting for that.
Is this what happens when Herzog does Disney? They just open the gates.
Yeah.
What is Criterion? What is art? He's cool in it, for what it's worth. Herzog's good. But
he ruins that show.
Why? You were saying this before.
Because I can't believe that Werner Herzog would want something and would not be able to acquire it. So the entire, it's just too much of a suspension of disbelief that this dude could stop Werner Herzog from getting a wild creature. It's just not going to happen.
He put a boat across a mountain.
That's
in
right.
In real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't people die doing that?
One person had to cut their foot off because they got bit by a snake, but they did not die from the thing.
Came close when it was sliding back down the hill, I believe.
Yeah, that was scary. But no, he guaranteed, Herzog guaranteed no one would die from his own engineering plans. And
I
that's
guess
all you really need in life is a guarantee from Werner Herzog.
Honestly, he could guarantee me anything.
Oh, dude.
You don't need a condom. Oh. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Raw dog with
Herzog. Yeah.
If I die and there does turn out to be a god and he doesn't sound like Werner Herzog, disappointed.
Yeah,
disappointed.
I would feel
if there's
a little bit
purgatory,
cheated.
Herzog is the guy that reads you off your charges.
Yeah.
I don't really imagine him as God, but he's not somebody that God messes. You go over to Herzog's section. He doesn't listen to anybody. You just listen to him.
Yeah. But yeah, he ruins the show. He should definitely have whatever that thing's name is. Baby Yoda. You should definitely have that by now.
Grogon.
Whatever.
I'm not Grogu.
Grogu.
That's a dumb name, man.
Whatever, man.
Whatever.
Did you Jar Jar Binks? The floor is low. It's watchable.
Chewbacca.
I'm not a defender of. If I was going to a Zack Snyder rant, I have no problem bitching about the House of Mouse at all. But just saying, it's a pretty good show.
Bring me him with his large ears.
This mouse. Bring him to me.
You're not getting me in on accents like that. You guys have embarrassed us.
Mandalorian. I require a young Yoda in order to reunite the franchise.
Okay, so let's go out with
that.
No. That's you give us your favorite line from Circuitry 2, delivered by Werner Herzog.
Let's see. What's that good?
That's a good idea, Jay.
I will give to you what your dry, dusty loins couldn't give you.
Okay, here's mine. What brings you to my mind?
Is that Herzog? Because that was...
Or no, that was Plughead said that.
Oh.
I was doing it as Herzog.
Yeah, you're supposed to do it as Herzog.
What brings you to my mind?
That was good. That was very good.
So you're up, Jay.
That's no, you guys. You set this ship sailing. You know.
All right, you guys. Well, I guess that's all we got for producer Eric and Justin and Jay. I'm Zoe. The movie is Circuitry Man II. It's out there. Make it a part of your life if you dare. Bye now. Wave goodbye, fellas.
And still you shade me from the heat in a wicked world, from peril and the breach of an...
Beanie, are we gonna get there soon?
I told you to go before we left.
If I went before we left, I would have left before you did. But, you writing a letter home?